Understanding the musical modes. The 7 main modes of the major keys are as follows: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. To demonstrate this, if you start at C and use C major as your basis, then you have the C Ionian mode, which only utilizes the white keys. Now, if you use all of the exact same notes, but instead start from D and go to the next D, you will get the Dorian mode. If you start with E and go to the next E, it is the Phrygian mode, and so on and so on. Phrygian is actually my personal favorite of these 7 modes. Another way to arrange them is in order from brightest to darkest, which would be Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Phrygian, and, lastly, Locrian. Consequently, the reverse is the order from the darkest to brightest. If you use Ionian as your default, again using the C major example, we can also identify how to create these modes only using alterations. Here is how to build them in order from the least amount of note changes to the most amount of note changes, using the C major example. To make Lydian, you would sharp the 4th degree, which would turn the F in the scale into F sharp. To make Mixolydian, you would flat the 7th degree, which would turn the B in the scale to B flat. To make Dorian, you would also flat the 3rd degree, which would turn the E and B in the scale to E flat and B flat. To make Aeolian, also known as the natural minor scale, you would also flat the 6th, which would turn the A and E and B into A flat and E flat and B flat. To make Phrygian, you would also flat the 2nd, which would turn the D and A and E and B into D flat and A flat and E flat and B flat. To make Locrian, the darkest of these modes, you would also flat the 5th, which would turn the G and D and A and E and B into G flat and D flat and A flat and E flat and B flat. A fun fact that I personally like to think about is that Lydian and Locrian are the brightest and darkest of the modes, yet, what makes them both distinct and unique from the others is that they share an enharmonic note, which is the sharp 4th and flat 5th. This note is actually also unique because it is a tritone interval from the root note. In Lydian, you sharp or augment the 4th degree to raise it 1/2 step, which brightens the F into an F sharp, but, in Locrian, you flat or diminish the 5th degree to lower it 1/2 step, which darkens the G into a G flat. But, if you go to any keyboard and look at the notes, you will actually see that the note is the exact same. So it seems to be that the tritone interval is what can make a mode sound either the brightest or the darkest out of all of the modes, depending on the context of how you use it when you are composing and producing.